Hello and welcome to Spotlight on Eventing. This week I am so excited to be chatting to you all about everything that unfolded at Thoresby. I was lucky enough to be there at the Eventing Spring Carnival, and what a wonderful event it was. Not only that, but this episode we will also be having a look at the badminton entries. This episode is brought to you by Veredus and British Eventing. As we start to look at the amazing Thoresby Park, where better place to start than the licensed Grantham Cup, and what a competition it was. Our winner, Gemma Stevens, with that 29.9 dressage and that all-important double clear, taking the win in that section. Cooley Park Mews, owned by the Rex Syndicate, and a brilliant result for her. Gemma actually had 4 horses in the 4-star and wasn't having much luck in the cross-country phase until she came along on Cooley Park Mews when it mattered the most. And we were lucky enough to catch up with Gemma after her cross-country.
It's his first 4-star win, so we actually started at Hartbury, but that didn't go very well. Yeah. So he then went to Blenheim and he was second in the 8-9s there. So that was his first real proper completion. So yeah, to come here round this sort of track in this sort of company, really tough cross-country course today. I'm really proud of him. Basically, he was sent to me from some owners of the syndicate that still own him. Yeah. They owned him outright and they sent him to me to sell. Yeah. And we fell in love with him, and so I approached them and said, how would you feel about keeping a quarter share and I sell other 3/4 share, and we run him and keep him and see how far we can go. I can't guarantee he's going to be a top class horse, but at that point he was certainly showing all the credentials to be a really good horse. And I managed to sell the other 3 shares, so he's owned by 4 different people, quarter share each, and they are having the best day ever. We're going to take him to Royal Jump in France. We had sort of made the plan at the beginning of the year to take the chilly ones to Bramham, because you have to think about your owners and what works for them as well. So my owners were really keen to go to Bramham, and the Cooley Park Music owners were very excited about the prospect of a French event. So we're taking Flash Cooley and Cooley Park Mews to Royal Jump in France, and then Chilly's Jester and Chilly Morning will go to Bramham for either the long or the short, depending on where they are where they are in their confidence and things like that, whatever we feel with them.
Tom Jackson and Hawkeye finished in second place in the Grantham Cup. A huge result for that horse in particular, a horse formerly ridden by Nicola Wilson and Christina Hall-Jackson, but Tom really getting to grips with him now, and a horse that actually heads to Badminton as well in a few weeks' time. But another rider that had a great performance was Will Rawlin. Will had a super ride in the cross-country, and I was lucky enough to catch up with him to hear all about his thoughts of the cross-country course at Thoresby.
Yeah, fantastic. Really good sort of, prep leading up to Badminton early on in the season. Definitely the round that I wanted and the round that I needed. I came back after saying to the team that it's been a while since I've had a good a round that felt as good as that. So it gave me a big buzz, and a buzz that I needed. So really chuffed.
So heading to Badminton in a few weeks' time, how do the next few weeks look now from a training point of view with yourself and your horse William?
I've actually just slightly tweaked, particularly his eventing plan. I was thinking, let's go Burnham Market, do the 4-star there, then do Cirencester and do combined training. But I've decided, even before I ran here, doesn't need to go to Burnham Market. He knows his job. He doesn't need any more runs than he needs. And Cirencester will probably do, combined training. But with my trainers, Dickie Waygood and Pippa Funnell and Tracy on the flat, we'll put in plenty of homework at home and, really get his fitness up to scratch and, be in good stead for Badminton.
The Arena Saddles Oxers were big and bold and really encouraged forward riding It was riding nicely on the 6 strides from the main parallel on a curving line to that right-handed corner. But then they had 2 forward strides to a uniquely built oxer that meant that the riders were certainly having to get stuck in to that last element. And the riders that were running into trouble at this fence were the riders that weren't able to ride forward at the corner. Whether that had been their line or the horses were fighting them, the riders that really got rewarded were the ones that were able to come off the turn to the corner, start attacking to the corner, and then the 2 strides came up really well to the final part of that fence. And the CrossCountry app, such a great way of us being able to look at all these fences, both prior and post event, and really analyse what jumped well and what didn't. Sadly, we didn't get to see Emily King and Valmy Biats in the Grantham Cup. And if you're wondering why, she actually took a tumble in the 2-star show jumping warm-up. She was riding her mother, Mary King's horse, who she's recently just took over the ride since Mary has made the decision to retire. And sadly, the horse just didn't quite read the fence in the warm-up, but I was lucky enough to catch up with her. She came back to the event on the Sunday to support her partner, Sam Aykroyd, and we got to hear all about what happened and how she's feeling about trying to get ready for badminton with Valmy.
Oh yeah, didn't quite go to plan. My Thoresby this year. I had a 2-star horse, and I was warming up for the show jumping, and bless him, it was a very windy yesterday afternoon, and I think he's a new ride to me, and he was a little bit on edge, a little bit nervy, and completely misjudged this oxer when we were warming up, and put his legs down but in the middle of the poles. Anyway, misread it. We ended up both having a bit of a tumble, but I, for some reason, decided to land right on my ribs with him slightly coming on top of me, and have broken a couple ribs and punctured my right lung, which is
And so what does that look like now for the next few weeks? What have they sort of said you need to do from this point onwards?
So well, the main thing they said with your ribs is your own body tells you directly how your healing process is going, which I think is so true, isn't it? As much as you can fill up your lungs, you're away. But they said that, and for me, I need to be right for badminton, and I need to be able to give Valmy a prep run for badminton, which Burnham Market's in a couple of weeks' time. There's a few other options, but I'm gonna see a specialist this coming week, seek their advice, and just follow what they say, but basically try and get the initial knitting back together of the bones as quickly as possible, and then I can go. I don't mind pain, but I don't want pain to then make it a longer process. So if I know that it hurts but it's not doing any harm, and it's not jeopardising the competitions, then that's no bother, we'll crack on.
Yeah, exactly. Well, fingers crossed for a really speedy recovery, and hopefully we will see you at Burnham Market and at badminton.
Thank you, Saf.
There were so many standout performances at Thoresby, but a few I think are worth a mention. Has to be Izzy Cook, who was in the other of the 4-star short sections. She actually achieved a podium finish in that section. Izzy, just 21 years old, a huge result for her, and a rider that is planning to head out to Kentucky in a few weeks' time, and also probably aiming for Bramham Under-25 championships as well. Harry Mead, another rider we saw not in the 4-star this weekend, but actually with all of his 5-star horses running in the 3-star class. Harry chooses to not run at the 4-star level before heading to a 5-star. Quite unique compared to a lot of the professional riders, and something that we don't see so often, but it really works for Harry. So he headed in to cross country with a number of horses in the top 10, but chose to ride really slowly. And it's Harry's method to keep the confidence of the horses and really feel he's got the control he needs before he heads to the likes of badminton. He's got 5 entered there, but 2 of which I imagine will be heading out to Kentucky instead. As we see the end of the cross country at Thoresby, Stuart Buntine isn't finished yet. He is already looking ahead to the 2027 season, and we were lucky enough to catch up with him to hear his thoughts and plans going into the future.
We've got some really exciting plans coming up. Over the next 2 to 3 years, we're going to do a major rehash of the whole layout here at Thoresby. One of the great things is we built a bridge here, which is a mobile bridge, and I can move it wherever I want, so I'm not actually stuck with the location of that. the estate has decided they want to change a little bit of the areas we have. So with the water jump here, I thought, do we just abandon the water jump or do we change it? So the plans are to actually come down that hill straight in front of us and put the bridge straight over the river there. And then I've only got a short section of land which we'll build a causeway on to get them to the water jump. And then we're going to take everybody up the route where the advance go and through the trees at the top.
Stuart discussing his plans going forward in front of the iconic water at Thoresby. And if you're looking to find out a bit more on how to address water early on in the season, then head over to the Be Prepared website. Be Prepared coach Katie Williams is over there talking about how to tackle tricky combinations in the water, particularly at the start of the season. And as we look to badminton, such an exciting list of horses. Of course, just the entries at the moment. I'm sure we will see some withdrawals and changes to the leaderboard, but I think this is a great opportunity to start to talk about some of the riders we have heading there. There's a strong field coming over from other countries this year. One of those riders being Olympian Lara Liedekirchen-Meyer. She actually finished 7th with Huni de Arville at the European Championships at Blenheim last year. Another rider that I think will be interesting has to be David Dole and Galileo Numode. A combination that we know can be so competitive, particularly across the country at the 5-star level. But for me, the star that I really want to talk about has to be Daisy Berkeley, who is coming back to badminton, having been away from the championship for 16 years.
I'm still not convinced I want to, but you know, as I said, you've got to be in it to win it. But what I do love about that horse, I've ridden him since he was 4. He's small, he's clever, he's careful, and you know, he trusts me implicitly, and so I feel quite a lot of pressure that because he trusts me so much that I really mustn't make a mistake. I mustn't make it too difficult for him. So we have a really good partnership. And yeah, you never know if you've got a badminton horse till you go to badminton. So if he goes well here and we're still, you know, looking good, we'll be there. And if we have any reservations about me or him, you know, there's so many other opportunities for the spring. So, you know, it's a win-win.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Daisy. Good luck today and good luck at badminton if you go.
Thank you so much.
So special to hear from Daisy and hear such an experienced insight into what it takes to get those horses back to badminton. And I think she's totally right. You really do have to be feeling on your A game to go and tackle the biggest course in the world. But 2 riders that are going to be trying to fight back are going to be Emily King, Vami Biats. We spoke to her obviously earlier on in the show. She's got to try and get back fighting fit to be in competition at badminton. And the other rider that we need to see getting back fighting fit is Laura Collett. She announced she had to go in for a shoulder operation, having followed a big fall out cross-country schooling at the start of the year. So she's going to be working really hard to get back into performance to be heading there in a few weeks' time. Once again, thank you so much to Veredus and British Eventing for bringing you this episode. Join us next week as we look at the results from Tetworth Horse Trials, a new horse trials in the calendar from last year, an event run by event riders themselves. And as we lead up to the closing stages of badminton, we will see what horses are having their final prep runs.